We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Spread Zone, and we are here in the Spread Zone studio. My name is Riz. To my left is Anthony Stalter. To his left is Tim McKernan, and today we are talking PGA Championship, and we'll talk a little Preakness. So
2 for 1 on the Spread Zone.
2 for 1 on the Spread Zone today. So PGA Championship, we go to our PGA expert, Tim McKernan, and we're talking odds and angles and storylines. What is the big story out of Quail Hollow?
I appreciate being called the PGA expert. However, I think it's only fair to note that while I might be called the expert, when we last convened to discuss golf, it was you two who both picked Rory McIlroy to win the Masters.
I forgot
and you
about
won.
that.
Oh, man.
So I might be the expert, but you're the actual winners.
Well, listen, we used the information that you gave us here in the Spread Zone. And
by
we just
saying pick
applied
Justin
it.
Thomas.
Yeah, we thought, right pew, wrong church.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And then we decided to go with Rory.
So, I mean, considering you both are 1-0 on the majors this year, I'm more anxious to hear what you have to say than whatever research I have for you.
And I'm trying to do my research for today's podcast. What did I learn from Augusta? I learned that I got lucky.
No.
I learned that I got lucky picking Rory.
Rory was trending. It was a solid pick.
Tim learned that he went with the wrong Justin.
That's correct. Justin Rose would have been a hell of a play considering he got to the playoff.
Come on now.
That was a sharp pick. Jay Delsing, who's a professional golfer, we had him on the program breaking it down, and he goes, I picked Justin Rose at the beginning of the week. And I'm going, how did you even come up with Justin Rose? But you guys had Rory McIlroy.
Right.
You shipped it. I tip my cap, especially considering this is where I'm supposed to be the expert, and I had Justin Thomas.
Well, no, you still are. Look, it's a crap shoot. Now, some would say that Action Jackson,
14-2 in his NCAA tournament run in the Spread Zone.
He knows his NCAA hoops.
Guys,
you know your golf. You're going to cash in.
Let's not talk about the past.
Let's talk about the future.
Let's talk about the future.
Amen. Let's get people paid.
So, recent Quail Hollow winners: Rory, Max Homa, Jason Day, Justin Thomas, who I see his name all over the place in regards to this year's PGA Championship. Your thoughts, Tim?
The stat that I would track the most if I were gambling on this weekend is as simple as can be, and it is guys who are, by definition, bombers off the tee. And here is the reason. Now, that's always important to have distance off the tee, but it's doubly important this week at Quail Hollow because they have been getting a lot of rain. And what that does, to give some background, I know golfers know the situation, but they have on their greens something called sub-air to dry out the greens when they get a lot of rain. So the greens will be firm, but the fairways and the rough will be saturated with moisture. And therefore, if you don't hit it far, your ball's not going to roll out. And if you don't hit it far and you hit it into greens that are like as hard as the table here on our Spread Zone set, it's not going to stop. And so the guys who are hitting it further have the advantage of hitting a higher lofted club, which stops on the green, as opposed to a guy who might only hit it 275, which is great.
And is this specific to Quail Hollow?
This is specific because it's as long as it is. You had the distance 7,600, right?
7,600 yards. It's a par 71.
And with the sub-air firm greens and the moisture that it's received this week, so I mean, this is, as we're talking here, this is the day before the tournament kicks off. It is a bomber's paradise. And so therefore, a number of golfers who normally would be considered contenders are probably going to be more in the long shot category because they don't hit it as far. And so you can narrow your pool of players to the Bombers, which then gets us to your Masters winner, Rory McIlroy, who is an absolute bomber and has had success on this golf course. This golf course normally hosts a regular PGA event, but this year it didn't because it's hosting the PGA Championship. Riz, you're seeing Justin Thomas's name all over the place because the last time they had the PGA at Quail Hollow, he won it in 2017.
Okay, but we do have, just like the Masters, we got Scheffler and McIlroy as your co-favorites. Most money, getting most bets. Scheffler using FanDuel's odds, of course, plus 450, and McIlroy plus 480.
I think it would be a wise play to, if you're going to go with a, quote, long shot, to make sure you sprinkle a little on Rory McIlroy. The reason being, number one, his course history. Number two, his form. He has been playing incredibly well, of course, winning at Augusta, but he also won at Pebble Beach earlier in the year. And then finally, he is just a bomber off the tee. And so this course really favors him as it is, but in these conditions even more so because that guy can hit at 340.
All right. Well, Justin Thomas is a plus 2,100. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th as far as the odds go outright on FanDuel. Bryson DeChambeau, third at plus 1,000. And then last year's winner, Xander Schauffele, at plus 1,900.
Yeah. So specific to Thomas, as far as form goes this year, I would say Thomas, from a ball striking standpoint, is up there with the best. He won the week following the Masters at the RBC Heritage at Harbour Town and Hilton Head, and he has been hitting the ball incredibly well. He's in form, and he won there in 2017. The question becomes, how much do you value distance in your equation for whether it be your wagers or daily fantasy rosters? And if you do just want to focus on distance, there really is a narrow pool of golfers who meet these two qualifications, which are incredibly important, again, because the greens are so firm, but the fairways and rough are so wet. And that is a combination of 180 mile an hour ball speed and then 110 plus feet apex height. So they swing, they hit it far, but they also hit it high, which allows it to land on the greens and hold the greens as opposed to bounce off and then may deal with having to try to get up and down to save par. And so you have a narrow pool of golfers. Some are names that we've already mentioned, Riz, such as Rory McIlroy, such as Bryson DeChambeau. And then there would be a couple others who would fall into the category of major champions, such as Brooks Koepka, who we've seen win a couple of PGAs and win a couple of U.S. Opens. He meets those qualifications. Gary Woodland also meets those qualifications, and this gentleman won at LACC in 2023, Wyndham Clark. He can bomb it, and he also hits it high. So those are the qualifications that I am focused on this week, and that, I think, is going to really separate the pool. If you are looking to hit on a winner, it's weird because it's all distance all the time, mainly because of the rain they've gotten at Quail Hollow.
Just so you know, 53% of all the money is on three players. It's Scheffler, McIlroy, and DeChambeau. 53% of the entire market outright is on those three.
It will be really intriguing to see if somebody who is not, if I would imagine all three of those will be in the mix. And I also would be surprised if you see a, for lack of a better term, random/surprise name emerge. The best players in 2025 are usually also the guys who can bomb it, and this week it is a bomber's paradise.
Anthony, what about, Jordan Spieth is chasing the career Grand Slam, so that's a storyline people will be following.
Yeah, I actually like Jordan Spieth this weekend. Normally known for exceptional putting, especially under pressure, but the ability to recover in difficult situations, I think, can apply here with him. Total mental toughness out of him, strategic approach to the game. I think that Jordan Spieth is underrated when it comes to this weekend's pool. Now, is he the bomber that Tim is talking about? I'm not so sure. In that regard, I do like Bryson DeChambeau. So moving away from JT, moving away from Rory, moving away from Schauffele, I do like Bryson. I think Bryson DeChambeau is your winner this weekend.
Wow.
If not, he wins a round.
How about that? Bryson on FanDuel, Riz, as you noted, plus 700. So you're getting 7-1 on your money. I'll tell you this, from an entertainment standpoint, if you could once again get Bryson and Rory McIlroy in the final group like we had at Augusta. Now, Bryson faded on Sunday, whereas Rory wound up winning after having the up and down round. And plus the confrontation they had in the aftermath with Bryson saying he didn't talk to me the whole time. And Rory, just this morning, actually, guys, saying, what do you expect? I'm out there trying to win the Masters. Plus, Bryson won the U.S. Open last year at Pinehurst with Rory missing those short putts toward the tail end. You could really be creating a Tiger Phil for 2025 if that were to happen.
So the line moved on Bryson. Yesterday it was plus 1,000, so it's plus 700 today?
And that's because of what's going on with the weather there.
Okay.
It's all about distance. It would be alarming if somebody who didn't bomb it was in the mix at this thing. And by the way, Jordan Spieth, while he is not known for distance, Anthony, he still hits it a good long way. He is averaging about 305 yards in distance off the tee, which puts him, it's not at the top, but it's certainly it's in the mix. He is 54th off the tee, his driving distance, which is only 2 spots behind Justin Thomas, who, as you noted, Riz, everybody's talking about. Not as many people, Anthony, as you referenced. You're talking about Jordan Spieth, despite this being his opportunity for the career Grand Slam.
Wait, did somebody give the number on Spieth? Do you have the latest on?
Spieth I had at plus 4,100, but they may have moved.
I mean,
It has moved substantially.
Really?
Oh.
It's moved substantially.
Since I said that.
I think that's the thing. You picked Jordan Spieth. You picked DeChambeau, but you mentioned Spieth.
Yeah.
And I think the reason it moved, Riz, it's now plus 6,000, is all about people moving their money on the bombers. And again, I mean, what golfer wouldn't love to be able to hit it 305 yards? But out there, that's not far enough to compare with the guys who are at the top. And the top,
as far as the big bomber
yards.
names, McIlroy, Scheffler, Cantlay, Morikawa, and Hatton. I'm seeing a lot of fade on Morikawa. For some reason, they say he's not a fit for Quail Hollow. But he is one of the top names as far as the outright odds go.
Well, he's an incredible player, but he's known more for his iron play. I think so much has been dialed into who hits the ball far on this tournament field. And so that is why I would imagine Spieth has fallen off. And that's why the money is moving in that consolidated trifecta of Scheffler, DeChambeau. It's not like Scheffler's a bomber. He's certainly above average, but specifically McIlroy and DeChambeau.
The other guy I like a lot is Victor Hovland. We're talking about him finishing third at Quail Hollow in 2021. He's proven that he can play well here. He's got a powerful and accurate drive as well. I think Hovland, who was plus 5,000 before we came on at FanDuel, and maybe he's still there, Tim, he is somebody I'm definitely circling as well, whether it's a matchup play or one of the rounds. I like Victor Hovland a lot.
What I said Scheffler before, so some of these models, which is driving distance plus long irons, plus, from 200 plus yards, McIlroy, Scheffler, Cantlay, Morikawa, Hatton. Some of these models put those guys up top, which are fits for Quail Hollow. Morikawa, though, I guess driving distance is not.
That's not what he's known for.
A huge part.
And so over the course of the last 3 days, because of the rain there, so much of the money is moved more towards the guys who can hit it far off the tee as opposed to a ball striker who's great with his irons like Collin Morikawa. You'll be hard-pressed to find anybody, with the exception of Scheffler, who is going to be as consistent and tight with their shot dispersion as Collin Morikawa. But he's not a bomber per se. All
right, so let's take a break here. We'll take a break. We'll come back, and we will make our picks as to who will win this weekend's PGA Championship and maybe some props. Stay there. More Spread Zone next. All right, back with the Spread Zone. We are talking PGA Championship. We'll get to the Preakness in just a little bit. All right, so you laid it out. We know who's playing. We know who's hitting. We know what's going on at Quail Hollow. We know about the weather. Who are you picking? Tim McKernan to win the PGA Championship.
I gave you Justin Thomas at the Masters, and that did absolutely nothing. You guys gave Rory McIlroy. You delivered for the people. I am going to go at a plus 9,000 play on FanDuel, boys. And it's not by any means a household name, but he is fourth in his distance off the tee. Plus, he has been playing quite well. Over his last 36 rounds, he ranks 8th in the field around the green, 20th in putting, and he's a bomber right behind Rory McIlroy with his distance off the tee. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 PGA champion is Min Woo Lee.
Whoa, out of nowhere.
Lee at plus 9,000, averaging 316.1 yards off the tee. That's fourth in the tour. Plus 9,000, Anthony. Ship the bankroll.
You know what he did too, Riz? Before we broke, he had all of these nuggets for us, right? Distance. He's talking about the grass and how it dries, and he's giving all these names out.
I thought we were going to get a lesson on Bermuda grass.
I did too.
Very tight.
Yeah, it also grows mostly when it's warm out.
That's right. Yeah, you're not going to see it up north.
Yes, of course. Yes. Not in Canada, but then he pulls out.
You got to
his actual winner.
You got to. We're all about game theory here. They're zigging there. I'm zagging over here with Min Woo Lee.
Anthony, who we got?
All right, so I'm going to have some sprinkles.
I like a sprinkle.
I'm going to have some sprinkles on Jordan Spieth because I think Jordan Spieth is flying under the radar this week.
That'd be a zig to a zag. I'd say that.
So, is he my official pick? No. But I do want credit for it if he wins. The other sleeper I've got for you is the guy I mentioned before the break, which is Victor Holland. Improving this season, previous success at Quail Hollow in 2021 when he finished third. I think he's a total value. But my official selection is Bryson DeChambeau. Known for the powerful driving. Tim highlighted that very well, broke down why that's important. But known for his powerful driving, recently won a live event in South Korea. Length off the tee gives him advantage. Even though I don't think he's chalk. I think he's chalky. But I think Bryson DeChambeau, who went from plus 1,000 to plus 700, is my selection.
And he was a stroke away from forcing a playoff at last year's PGA at Valhalla with Xander Schauffele's first major win. So there's no way you can call Bryson, Scheffler, or McIlroy pick a bad pick. So I like the play. And if you're building a daily fantasy roster with 6 golfers, a Jordan Spieth play, I would imagine he won't be highly owned, so that'd be a good move.
I agree.
All right, my pick is the man who said this quote when asked how comfortable he is at Quail Hollow. Quote, "I've literally done this here before." Justin Thomas is my pick.
Wow. I thought you were going Rory, but Justin Thomas, huh?
I thought you were going back to the well.
I've literally done this before here, is the quote when asked how comfortable he is at Quail Hollow.
I wish he was more confident going into this weekend,
So he is my pick to win the 2025.
I'm telling you, he is in form. Few players are playing as well in 2025 as Justin Thomas. He's been on a heater.
Who are you fading?
For me, I'm going to be fading guys who you know, as far as recognizable names, but don't hit it particularly far. Again, this is relative to PGA Tour players, names that you may recognize. Justin Rose, who we saw, threaten Rory McIlroy just like he did in 2017 with Sergio Garcia in a playoff. Justin Rose, at this point, by golf standards, older, doesn't hit it far. By golf standards, would be a fade, so I wouldn't expect a repeat performance. Jason Day has dealt with some injury issues. I wouldn't expect him to be in there. Tommy Fleetwood still has never won on American soil, a well-known name, doesn't necessarily bomb it, but can play well at great courses, but he's going to have the distance. Those would be names that people would recognize that I would fade this week, Riz.
Yeah, for me, it's Rory.
Wow.
Yeah, just because he's got such a great track record here. I'm going the opposite way. This is where I'm zagging. He's fresh off the victory at the U.S. Open. I mean, it's tough to go back to back in majors. I just don't see the value this time around.
I agree on that part. The value on FanDuel is certainly not there. He's plus 450, Scheffler plus 400, and your pick DeChambeau plus 700.
Scheffler, same thing. I mean, Scheffler, world number one, but I think that when it comes to his course experience here, which is lacking, I'm fading him. I'm fading Rory, and I'm fading Morikawa for what we talked about before, where he's just somebody that probably will come up short distance-wise.
I want to give you a long shot in your thoughts.
Oh, nice.
Okay? Maybe somebody to keep an eye on. Maybe somebody who, maybe a top 10er, maybe to throw in.
Okay, I like this. A top 10 prop.
Can we both guess?
Maybe a cut line surprise. I don't know. Yes, go ahead.
Phil Mickelson.
No.
Save us.
Jon Rahm.
Boy, you want to talk about a game theory play. I mean, there's a guy that's as talented as anybody, but he's almost a forgotten face because the live factor. When everybody talks about a live golfer, they talk about your pick, Anthony. They don't talk about Rahm. That's a sneaker play.
I don't think he made the cut last year. Did decently the year before. I don't know. I got something in the bones telling me keep an eye on Jon Rahm.
Interesting. Yeah, I have to say, if you were to, again, there's betting on a winner, there's betting top tens, and then there's building out daily fantasy rosters, and you want to put players on your roster who are not going to be highly owned. Jon Rahm, of the top 5 players odds-wise, the other 2 being him, Scheffler, DeChambeau, McIlroy, Scheffler to round out that top 3. I would gather confidently that he would be the least owned of those 5. And so from that logic, that would be a sound play. I like that play. That's a sneak. That's a good little breaking ball.
That was a long shot kind of sneaker.
Yeah, he's plus 1,800.
It was. Now, was this the same voice that spoke to you about Rory in the U.S. Open?
It was the same voice.
Oh my goodness, voice
I'm
is
not
undefeated.
saying he's going to win though.
You went T10. That's where you went, top 10.
I want T10.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's a sound play.
Any other props?
He's a forgotten guy.
Any other props you guys want to talk about before we hit the break and talk Preakness?
First round leader, DeChambeau at plus 2,000. I think he comes out of the gates hot, capitalizes on the length, takes an early lead. Plus 2,000. Bryson DeChambeau, first round leader.
I have to tell you, I think if you don't want to do the long shot Min Woo Lee and you like the chalk, and I think that a real strong case could be made for that. FanDuel has you get any of these 4 to win: Scheffler, McIlroy, Rahm, or Thomas, and it's basically even money, minus 106. Anthony, if you wanted to include DeChambeau in there and sub out Rahm, Riz's sneaker play, you can get Scheffler, McIlroy, DeChambeau, or Thomas to win, and it's minus 128.
Well, that's not bad.
So that's an intriguing play. So if you want to sprinkle on some longer shots like Spieth, Hovland, and Min Woo Lee, then you can kind of protect your floor by getting one of those guys. I'd just be really surprised if a name that you weren't all that familiar with as a casual golf fan snuck up and won this thing this week. That's where I'm coming from.
For a prop, I'm not going to use any names, but I will say 2+ stroke win at plus 350.
I like that. I like that because, unfortunately, although I would love to see him win, honestly, I could see Rory running away and hiding with this thing. This could be a repeat of his performance at Congressional, where he won the U.S. Open low so many years ago. The conditions are ripe. The course fit is perfect for him with his success there, and the driving distance. It all matches up along with his form. I'd 3.5 to 1 on my money. I would enjoy that.
Plus, so it's plus 2 or higher.
Or higher.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not a specific.
Yeah, somebody running away.
Yeah. Okay. Boy, Riz, you're bringing the fire.
Yeah, you really are.
I like that.
Which, by the way, as of yesterday on FanDuel, was the same. That was the same odds as a playoff.
Really?
Going into a playoff. So
yeah, I could see somebody running away and hiding with this thing. It's going to be limited to about, I think, 12 to 15 golfers who even have a shot just because of the conditions.
But that's where I'm going to put my my fun money.
I like
it. That there's going to be some form of not 2 strokes isn't a blowout, but a comfortable lead.
Comfortable
and
2 or more stroke win.
Yeah.
Winning margin.
Yeah, to get 3.5 to 1 on your money is a nice play.
Yes, sir.
All right, fellas, that's the PGA Championship.
Yes.
Do what you will with that information. We'll take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk Preakness. Real quick. We'll talk about the ponies. Next, Spread Zone. All right, welcome back to the Spread Zone. We are talking Preakness, Pimlico, Saturday, the second leg of the Triple Crown. So there will be no Triple Crown bid. The Derby winner, Sovereignty, is skipping the race. So we got 9 horses in the field. And I think the reason for the skip was, I think the owner of the trainer, one of them, said, you know what? the Preakness and the Derby are too close together. It's not healthy for the horse.
That's the logic.
That's the logic. So Sovereignty will be back for the Belmont. So we have no Sovereignty this weekend. So no Triple Crown bid. So we got 9 horses. The favorite is Journalism, who was your runner-up in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, the Kentucky Derby.
So Journalism, the most accomplished in the field. I believe we've got Sandman, who was next odds to win at 4-1, who finished 7th at the Derby. Journalism is 8-5 favorite. Sandman next. Anthony, we'll start with you. Who are you feeling?
So I liked Journalism to win the Kentucky Derby. He is the Santa Anita Derby winner. I think that he was the class of a very large field in the Derby. And it was, as we know now, muddy. It gets congested at Churchill Downs. And the finish was incredible, but the start was rough for Journalism. I think he's going to have a cleaner break. And even though he is the odds-on favorite here, I do have Journalism at number 1. And I don't foresee me changing on that.
Now, Journalism is the class of the field, but from what I'm reading, the experts are saying there is possible Derby fatigue.
Derby fatigue is a real thing. It can carry over.
Is a real thing. Tim, what are you thinking?
I like to try to get some value on these, but Journalism certainly would be labeled as the class of the field. So I'm going to go and get myself 7.5 to 1 on my money with the Colt goal-oriented. Only 2 career starts, but this is going to be my play. It's 7.5 to 1.
Goal-oriented, unbeaten.
Yes.
And Bob Baffert's only entry.
Yes. If you only have a short amount of time on a turnaround, Bob Baffert wouldn't be a bad guy to try to get you across the finish line for a Triple Crown win.
All right, I'm going to go with the 5 to 1 odds, Clever Again.
Clever Again.
That was my 2 horse, and Tim said
Clever Again. So Clever Again, I believe, is a descendant of a Derby winner, American Pharaoh. So excellent pedigree.
The Kentucky Derby and the Preakness not too close together for American Pharaoh.
Again, that little voice is saying,
Clever Again.
Clever Again.
That little voice is starting to build a track record, though.
Well, let's see what happens after this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to find out here real soon on that little voice.
All right, so I need a win. I need I need your top 3.
All right.
Win, your place, or show.
So you guys actually, I feel like this is a spread zone play for me because my runner-up, my place, is Clever Again. With 2 wins in 3 starts, trained by Steve Asmussen, Clever Again offers value, pedigree, recent performances suggest he outperforms his odds. I got Journalism, I got Clever Again, and I got Goal.
How about that?
Yes.
A nod to your co-host.
It just worked out that way.
Yeah.
I'd like to say that I planned this. I did not. I did not know who you guys were backing, but that is my trifecta.
Riz, I'm going with goal-oriented, Journalism, and then Sandman would be
Sandman?
my play. Yes, a tribute to Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
All right, I got Clever Again to win.
Or Metallica.
Sandman second, and Journalism third.
All right. Journalism's in across the board on this.
Yes.
On this podcast.
Oh man,
your little voice. You know what I'm going to be? I'm going to be tracking your little voice, and
that's
of course,
what I want to see. And
Min Woo Lee.
I may kill my little voice after this week.
No.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, any long shot that you're thinking? The one long shot I'm seeing is Pay Billy.
Hefty numbers
at 20 to 1, according to my numbers. Long shot at Pay Billy.
Mine would be, and I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but Gosker, 20 to 1. He won the Lexington Stakes, stalking running style. I could see him capitalizing on a hot pace.
I fade long shot. I'm on goal oriented, and I think Journalism. Having watched the Derby and seeing that, there really is something something there as well. So I like the play. I'm hoping to get paid 7.5 to 1 on Goal Arrington.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up by reminding everybody, hey, make sure you check your updated odds before you throw your money down. And of course, you can do that on FanDuel.
Yes.
Our friends over at FanDuel.
Yeah, FanDuel.
Any final thoughts, fellas?
Love this weekend, Riz. We have some weather warming up in the area. What else can you ask for with a Triple Crown race and a major golf tournament? Looking forward to the festivities and looking forward to monitoring your plays because right now people are fading me on this podcast and it's a profitable venture.
All right. Anthony?
You got NHL playoffs, you got NBA playoffs, and then you got one of the outstanding golf and horse racing weekends. Yeah. So it's a perfect weekend, folks.
It's a great weekend. All right, that's it from the Spread Zone. We will see you next week.
We provide information about sports betting for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm gambling regulations in your state of residence. To participate in sports gaming, you must be 21 years of age or older and be physically present in a state where sports betting is legal. If you or someone you know has a sports betting or gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org for more information and further assistance.